Hello everyone, how are you? How are we doing today? Let's talk about Overwatch and its let's talk about Overwatch and these aiming controller sensitivity, all of this stuff. I'm actually gonna get out of.
With every death comes honor.
I'm actually gonna get out of this because I can talk about it from the options menu, which won't readily delete me out. Okay, so what in the world is up with aiming on console? Because it's... I actually almost prefer... Alright, regardless. What happens if I come over here? Okay, so I can come out to the side here. So, let's talk about... Let's just go down the list and talk about all the stuff in the menu here. So, sensitivity, horizontal sensitivity, vertical sensitivity. That is how quickly you will go from left to right for horizontal and up and down for vertical. Ideally, if you can, you want to play at all 100s. And the reason why you want to play at all 100s is because you will just be faster at turning around than your enemy will be, which is very good. The downside to that, of course, is that if you aren't careful enough with your joystick, if your movements are too left and right, then you will continue to miss them and you just won't be able to aim, and then they will be able to just slowly turn around, focus on you, and just blast you. So, higher is best, but only if you can manage to aim appropriately. The defaults are at 25. I feel like that's a pretty good bit here. Okay, let's talk about advanced here. Aim assist strength. This is it automatically locking onto enemies for you to help you out. Pros and very, very good people will say to turn it off because it will pull your aim. I would probably suggest to just turn off aim assist for snipers. So aim assist strength is the pull in which the game says, okay, an enemy's over there and you're over here. I'm going to make your reticle track an enemy for you. It's assisting you, right? So the lower the number, the weaker it is. The higher the number, the stronger it is. I feel like this is great for Soldier 76 or anybody who doesn't zoom. If you zoom, you would probably be better off with turning it off, because you like need to aim very precisely with a sniper, right? And so if your aim assist is pulling you off, you're never going to get a shot off, or you're going to miss all your shots. But for people like Soldier 76, Tracer, Sombra, these different hit scan people, it's pretty good. Aim assist window size. This is the window in which it will focus on an enemy. So if it's at 100, it's gigantic. So think of like an invisible square on your screen, or if I'm the bad guy, right? As soon as my head comes in with this square, it's gonna start tracking with me. If you make that smaller, then it's going to take a while before it starts tracking me. Okay. Aim smoothing and aim easen. These are pretty similar. Aim smoothing, and we have to talk about aim technique first. So I'm gonna hold off aim smoothing and aim easen for now. Invert vertical look. Right now, as default, if I go up on my vertical, my character looks up. If I go down, my character looks down. A lot of people like to invert this, and it harkens back to the joystick days of like flying a plane. Because if you're flying a plane like this, if you want to go down, you actually push forward, so that way your plane will go down, and that translates to pushing forward on this. So instead of thinking of your controller like this, where this is up and this is down, think of it like this, or even like this, where that way goes down, this way pulls up, pushing down, pulling up. But then when you put it right here, that's up and that's down. So that's inverting that. Inverting horizontal look, the same thing, but for horizontal. Why would you do that? It would make sense for, like, if I have a stick here and I'm trying to make it go back and forth. Here, I'll use my Overwatch game case here. So if I'm attempting to make this point that away, I'm going to make this end go this away, right? So that's how that would work. And so horizontally speaking, it's the same. I push to the left to make this point to the right. So that's how a horizontal inversion would look. No, I do not want to reset that. Vibration, on or off. It gives you feedback if people start attacking you. When you're shooting, it adds to the immersion of the experience. I've turned it off on my Tracer because she's doing that all the time. But with Tracer, because her fall off is so short, I really need to be right in their face. And so because of that, I want to turn off the vibration, because otherwise my controller's doing this, and more importantly, my thumb is also going like that. Not exactly, but some people like to turn it off so that way you can get better precision. Switch your movement and look sticks. You move with the left stick and you look with the right stick. But how would you like to move with the right stick and look with the left stick? You can do that. Probably great for lefties. Legacy sticks. This is hilarious. This is how legacy sticks work. You turn it on, and your left stick, which used to just control movement, now controls part movement, part aim. Specifically, it controls you moving forward and you aiming left to right. Isn't that interesting? So you say, I'm going to move, well, I'm going to use this stick because it doesn't move the cursor, but you would say, I'm going to move forward and then look left and look right, so you can turn more naturally, okay? And then this one has the strafing back and forth, or the other one would have the strafing back and forth and then looking up and down. So so instead of one controller doing all of the aiming and one controller doing all of the moving, one controller does half of the moving and half of the aiming, and the other stick, and the other stick does half of the moving and half of the aiming. Again, the other half. Okay. Legacy sticks. It's fun. And it was around for GoldenEye, N64 days, Nintendo 64. So the old controller only had one joystick. They didn't have double sticks back then. And so it worked great for GoldenEye because it was a lot of horizontal, and it was the best shooter period of that time, and still lives up very well to this day. But the controller would move you forward, and then you would turn and aim with that same stick. So you can do you could do a lot with just one joystick, and so that's what legacy sticks are for. Let's talk about aim technique now. This is very interesting stuff. Let's go in opposite order. We're going to talk about linear ramp first. What aim technique is sorry, it's the acceleration of the joystick through the aim. Sounds kind of odd. So when you push on the joystick, your cursor starts to move. If you want to make fine adjustments with your cursor, like with a sniper, right, you're going to move it a little bit. If you are going to be aiming with like a projectile or a bastion, you're going to be moving it a lot. Or if you're turning around, you're going to be moving it a lot. But the difference between doing a little movement and a huge movement is determined by this aim technique. So uh, and it's an acceleration of the cursor, right? If I move my cursor a little bit, the the reticle will only move a little bit or move slowly. However, if I move it a lot, it will move very quickly, and this is what determines that. Now I have a printout here. All of these guys, can you even see that? Oh, I hope the camera will, uh-oh, it might not. Oh, because it's not a human. Oh no, this is very bad. What if I just cram it up there? Nope, nope. We might have to change the camera settings for it. Just wondering if I should do that now. Okay, maybe I can explain it. What if I just hold it up like a wee little bit? No, it sees the white and it automatically thinks that it's a that it's part of the background and should not be. I'm just trying to figure out how I could do that. What if I held up my phone and did not so much. Anyway, linear ramp. Regardless, I'll just use my arm. So linear ramp is a straight line. Think of this corner right here as 0 miles per hour if the cursor is moving in miles per hour, right? So we've got 0 miles per hour and we have, or sorry, 0% miles per hour and 100% miles per hour, how fast you can go. And the miles per hour is determined by your sensitivity. So 25, right now it's set on 25, right? So this would be like 25 miles per hour. But essentially we've got 0% miles per hour and 100% miles per hour. And this horizontal line here is I guess would it be time? Uh, uh, this would be miles per hour up to 25 or your max or your max sensitivity, and this would be the pressure in which you are applying the stick. So the more that I'm applying the stick, which goes up here, the more it will make the acceleration go up. It's sort of tricky. Essentially, the harder I press, the faster it goes, or the more I push, the faster it goes. The less I push, the less it goes. However, with linear ramp, it all occurs in one straight line. So it's essentially just about the same speed all the time. It ramps up linearly. So your fine movement goes really quickly, and your big movement goes very quickly as well. Let's demonstrate in the training gallery. We'll demonstrate with Soldier, I guess? Maybe Tracer? Tracer's pretty good with demonstration. Let's demonstrate with Soldier. Let's demonstrate with McCree. Because I believe I have all of his options on, I believe his options are on all heroes. Yes. So, that way I can mess with this. Oops, that's Reticle. We'll get around to Reticle. So, we're on linear ramp here. That means that we're going to move, and I need to point at not bad guys, because that's another option that we'll be talking about. So the more that so it will go slower, and then the more that I do it, the more it will go up to 100%. So this happens linearly. Okay. Oh, actually, I think I have a better way to show it. I was like, I'm going to keep this guy to 10 minutes or less. Nope. We're going to get rid of these things. This will help demonstrate linear ramp. And we're going to get rid of aim assist as well. And it takes forever. Go, go. Oh, if I use my joystick, I wish it would accelerate it more. So that way you could just see exactly what linear ramp looks like. and it's pretty quick. So, there it is. So, I'm moving it just a little bit. I'm moving it just a little bit, and we're already essentially at 100%. So it's not much to take it from. So this is essentially 0 to 100%. It definitely is faster, but the acceleration is what we're talking about here. Let's talk about the other part, dual zone. First we have linear ramp. Now we have dual zone. Dual zone looks like this. Check out that double jointed hand. So if this was linear ramp, where it goes straight up, actually it's easier to do with this. So if this is linear ramp, this is dual ramp, or sorry, dual zone. So it has two speeds. It goes a certain acceleration, and then it ramps up an acceleration. This is still 100%. This is still 0% miles per hour. This is still 100% miles per hour. This is still your sensitivity down here, and this is still your controller. But now I've got two different zones. I've got this sort of halfway point in between, so for right here and right here. So instead of just a continual acceleration, if I move the stick a little bit, it will have one speed to it. And then if I move it more, you see that switch over? So I'll do it slowly, and it's going a certain acceleration, and then as soon as I cross that threshold, right there. Slow, fast, slow, fast. Check it out, isn't that amazing? So until right here, it's moving at a certain acceleration, and then as soon as I go past it, it ramps up and says, let's go for it. So, that is dual zone. I run dual zone right now. For my characters. Just because there are times when I'm trying to do slow aim, and then times when I want to move. So that's dual zone. Let's talk about exponential ramp now. Exponential ramp looks like an exponential curve. Let's move so it doesn't boot me for an activity. It will boot me eventually because there's a time limit to the mode period. Okay, but that's dual zone. Exponential ramp. Exponential ramp looks like an exponential curve. It looks like this, essentially. Google exponential curve. It essentially goes like, I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm not okay. So it goes normal, and then it just woof, goes straight to the sky, and that's sort of its acceleration. So it will. So as we go slowly over, it will keep going faster and faster and way faster toward the end, hitting a top speed. Now let's all compare this back to linear ramp. And as I'm talking about this, who knows, maybe I'll switch over to linear ramp. So, slow acceleration, but it's still pretty fast the entire time. It goes consistently the entire time. Ooh, got my dead eye. And then, well, we'll just compare all of them together. So we did linear ramp, we just did exponential ramp. Let's just do dual zone one more time. So it's going slowly and slowly and slowly, and then it crosses a threshold right there. And now it's fast. Okay. Those are the aim techniques. And by aim techniques, I mean the aim technique options right here. Let me move out of the way. So, aim technique options. Let's stick on linear ramp for now, just because it will be good to demonstrate these other things. Let's talk about aim smoothing. We'll put aim smoothing all the way up. Aim smoothing puts a curve to the line. Okay? What does that mean? Here's linear ramp. Here's aim smoothing. See how I've made this curve? And I would love to draw it and show you on the paper, but I'm unable to. I don't know, and I'm doing it live. This is how I always do my videos. I don't know. Let's switch it around. So I have this line right here. It essentially bows this out. and it bows it out, freaking me out. It's not accelerating too quickly. It will bow it out so that way it's more of a normal sort of a curve, right? So linear ramp now, I have finer adjustments. I still get up to 100%, but everything is just a little bit smoother. It's a lot less herky-jerky. So when I'm doing these fine motor things, I'm not as I like I'm still going pretty quickly, but it's really helping that out. And then we're gonna add to it aim ease in. Whoops. Bah, bah, bah. Here it is. We're going to add into that. So that's aim smoothing. So that's for smoothing the entire curve. Aim ease in now is for starting off. We've been running. Okay, now we want to aim. So now it becomes even more precise as I'm moving slower. I'm able to get more of a consistent, more of like a consistent, a lot less jerky. So it essentially, so if we're like this, we're bending the curve, but now we're bending this curve even more. So it's almost starting to look closer to exponential ramp, but it still isn't. Okay. And so the reason why I'm doing this for linear ramp is because that's the easiest way to show it. Now, when we switch over our aim technique, we've got this aim smoothing and aim ease in, when we switch it over to dual zone, it's doing the same thing, but in dual zone. Okay, so it's still aiming. We have this fine motor, but then once we cross a threshold, we're going to be going quickly here. I might transfer over to linear ramp and see how that works, just because I tend to aim to the extremes, which is activating the second dual zone. But what it's doing here, and I don't know if you could see it, but when I go here immediately, there is a delay. That's aim ease in, kicking in, saying, okay, well, I'm not going to go immediately. Let's turn it off and see if we can see the difference. Aim ease in. When you look, it's just a teeny tiny little delay now if we turn it off. Lot less delay. We still have aim smoothing, so it will make things smoother, but that delay is a lot less pronounced. I think these two, aim easing and aim smoothing, aim smoothing and aim easing, work together. And it will do both of those things, bend all the curves for everything, including exponential ramp, even though exponential ramp is more of a ramp, right? Let's change it back over to... Actually, let's try it out on exponential ramp, just to see it. So, and this is me just going full tilt. Yeah, exponential ramp really ramps up super quickly. If you're into fine motor skills, this might be for you, but it is awfully unwieldy under exponential ramp. I don't think I would recommend it to anybody unless you were a super pro. I don't know. I don't even know if I would recommend it to the super pros. Anyway, let's talk about aim assist strength and aim assist window size. So aim assist strength, how big the pole is. Aim assist window size, how big the window is. And we're going to see something very interesting here. So before, we were just going hog wild with everything, and we're like doing great, right? So I just do like this, we're spinning around. Now watch what happens when we get to a bad guy. Fast, slow, fast, slow, fast, slow. That's the aim assist window size kicking in. Slow, slow. It says, hey, there's a bad guy here. Let me slow down your reticle so that way you don't go too fast. So now, working with dual zone, And Exponential Ramp isn't so bad. We're going as fast as we possibly can until we hit the bad guys. Then it slows our cursor down for us, so that way we can hit them. Oh, my battery's getting low. Oh, careful with guns, kids. So that's our aim assist window size. Once it hits them, it sort of stops. And so in this way, we can turn our sensitivity way up. It helps with that. So I'll just do it for horizontal because we're not moving vertical. And here's the difference between the two. So here's my vertical. Oh, that's very nice. Here's horizontal. Oh! And see, we are moving physically faster with our sensitivity turned up. If you can do it, you are automatically faster than your opponent. If you jump down or a tracer zips through your space, whop, all of a sudden you're behind. Okay, now let's do it with the our buddies here. Fast, slow, fast, slow, fast, slow, fast, slow. And because our sensitivity, sorry, it is. So it automatically slows down. Automatically slows. See that? And I'm not even moving the stick. It automatically slows down for us. Now, because our sensitivity is so high, it's going to go through their spaces very quickly. But that's sort of how it works. Now, aim assist really helps out with moving characters. I'm going to leave my cursor right here. Oh, you didn't do it. Let's see if it happens. Okay, I'm gonna do a slow. Let's see if I do a slow. It should be pulling it. Normally, it's like you're walking along. See how it slows down occasionally? It's because it sees these guys. So, if I move it, maybe I need to be moving myself. Okay, that works. So I think if I move myself. So, watch. I'm not even going to aim. I'm just going to move back and forth. See how it's looking at that guy? It's moving my reticle. My reticle should be looking forward at this target. Watch it. Now all of a sudden, it's not looking at that target anymore. See how it's jumping from character to character? I'm not even aiming here. So in theory, you could just move back and forth. It will aim for you. It's controlling my horizontal. It's not controlling my vertical. But as they're walking through my space, my reticle is getting turned. And indeed, I'm getting turned too. See, I'm pointing right here. I'm pointing forward. See this little box here? You can stand in the box and use this as a target, as target practice. See, as I move back and forth, it's saying, okay, you want some bad guys, right? And it's just moving it. If I move with a character, it will move it even more. See, it really wants me to have, so that's aim assist. And even as I'm standing here sometimes, so if I'm just standing here perfectly still, nothing's going to happen. But even if I'm trying to do fine movements, it's saying, hey, there's a guy right there. Are you sure you want that guy? It can be annoying, but it is designed to help you. Is there something wrong with my reticle or something? Wow, that's bad aim. Oh, no, it's because I've got it on linear ramp. That's why. See, maybe I don't like linear ramp. I do work with dual zone. And dual zone, it goes this away and then straight up. So if I'm doing these finer points here. He wasn't even moving.
Too slow.
He stopped there. But if you are patient with it, it'll help with that. Okay, so Yeah, and some people find that pull so irritating. You could also just reduce the aim assist window size. So my aim assist window size is gigantic, but you can reduce it down to 30 and it will lock on a lot later. See how it's not, the pull is not as strong anymore. It's actually kind of difficult to tell now that it's working. It's still slowing down, but just not as much. Okay, let's talk about other bits. Other options here. Advanced. We've covered everything for aiming. Let's talk about reticle now. Reticle has all of these different... Well, first let's do advanced. Let's go to advanced here. Default is just what comes on your character. So for McCree, it's a dot with a circle. For Hanzo, actually I'm gonna leave the game and then come back in as Hanzo and show you, just because I know my time limit was getting close to the end there. And it's also Winter Wonderland. Pulling up Hanzo here. Hanzo.
With every death comes honor. With
Okay.
honor, redemption.
So with Hanzo... Oh, I didn't even get the headshot on that one? Shame on me. So with Hanzo, see how he has this weird green thing? This is for his arrow as it falls over time. So you can see it fall as it continues onward toward the back wall. So right here, if we see the moment of impact, it's right at that middle one. If we were firing all the way across the map, we would probably want to do we'd probably want to do something else. So it's still hitting on the middle. Let's see what happens. Is it still the middle? Yep. You can see that arrow as it travels through space. Oh, it might be difficult with the resolution. Anyway, so talking about cursors, Hanzo Cursor here, that's his default, is that one. Or Reticle. Reticle or Cursor. Cursor is from like PC stuff, right? So anyway, whoops. It's just there. And then let's do, I'm gonna go back to, I'm actually just gonna go back to McCree to demonstrate the other ones. I wanted to do the default because Hanzo's is very unique. He's the only one with this reticle. Zarya has something similar. She has a reticle that nobody else has. With McCree, a lot of people have the dot with the circle. Okay, so here's our reticle. And then we go to options. We're just messing with all heroes because, well, why not? Default. Now comes into the fun part. So turn advanced on, because if you do default, it will get rid of the picture. But as soon as you do circle, now you get this. Show accuracy. This is bloom. See that circle moving in and out? It's telling you, like, hey, as you're shooting, you're getting a spread, and this is what your spread looks like. Now, McCree has no spread, so it shouldn't spread. And indeed, it's not spreading. For Soldier 76, it will spread, because it goes pinpoint for a while, and then it starts blooming out. So, show accuracy, if you turn that off, it will stay like that forever. Tracer, for instance, hers blooms out instantly. There is no pinpoint shooting with Tracer. So, showing accuracy will do that, and it will do that over the different ones too. Crosshairs, circle and crosshairs. That's pretty fun. And not with dot, because dot is a dot. Here's a fun fact for you. This is really good. This one right here is really good for circle and crosshairs for projectile users, because you can lead the user with the crosshair. So if they're at a distance, you need to shoot ahead of them, right? So like I would need to shoot over here with a projectile user, and the aim assist is messing up. So maybe you don't want aim assist with projectile users. But that one, circling crosshairs, is very good for projectile users, specifically Zenyatta. Color. Color is very important. This is the default, white. Can you see it against the background? I really can't. And if you're in the heat of battle, you might not either. Your color matters. I'm going to put this back at D. Actually, I like the picture, so I'm just going to do circling crosshairs because it's been helping. You want something that stands out against the background and doesn't look anything like anything else. Preferred colors, green. This is cyan. I don't particularly care for cyan. See how it's sort of blending into the blue? What did they call it? I don't think they called it cyan. Oh, they don't have any. Red. Some people like to use red. I would suggest no because there's a lot of red. There's red skulls. There's red marks when you hit somebody. Pink stands out. It might be a little bit too dark, but maybe not. Yellow. That one's going to bleed into the white. I wouldn't suggest it. Black. It's going to bleed into the black, even though I have a feeling it probably has a white background to it. I'm even having trouble seeing it just with this. But yeah, so you need something front and center at all times. Let's just go over some more of the colors here. Orange doesn't look all that bright. Pink doesn't look quite all that bright. I keep pressing circle when I should be pressing X. Sorry about that. Oops. I don't know what's going on with me. Okay. Ooh, neat. An invitation. I will definitely take you up on that invitation. Purple. Here's a other color. Stay away from the darks. You want as bright as you can get. You want annoying, ostentatious. Green is my favorite. I see the pros use green constantly. I love it. Thickness. This will make the thickness. I'm going to turn this off. The bloom off. Thickness makes your lines thicker. You can make them be very, very thick if you want to. Normally one is good enough, but you never know. There is I don't know if they're a pro, but somebody did a very interesting reticle where they just made a solid circle. I think it was just a dot. I think it was just a dot, and they made the nope. It must have been, was it circle then? Yeah, where they essentially just had the circle be really big and then they filled it in, and they just did that for the charge. So when you charge up Symmetra secondary, it goes whoop, and it just releases it. So that's thickness. Crosshair length. Let's go to, oops. Are you telling me I'm going to be removed? Don't tell me you're going to remove me for inactivity. Let's go to crosshair length here. We'll go to crosshairs. Crosshair length is how long you want those crosshairs to be. Do you want them to be super duper short to invisible? This is what, yeah, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Do you want them to be larger? In theory, you might do something like that if you wanted to do a lot of leading. If you were like a sniping Zenyatta or something, you would do that. Maybe you would do that for a lot of leading from across the map. Center gap. This positions the lines further or closer to the center. So 100 being way out there, and then of course coming in to touching it. You can turn it into a crosshair. Opacity. How visible do you want this thing to be? So if it's at 0 opacity, it's invisible. And the more you have it, the more it's there and in your face. So this allows you to use other colors, but you also can't actually see through. So if you had a larger reticle, you just wouldn't be able to see them there. Let's see what outline opacity. there is an outline. It's a black outline around it. So you can make it so that the black outline isn't there at all. So it might make white be more interesting for you because, so check it out. So if we change our color back to white, which is default, and then turn the outline opacity to 100%, all of a sudden now we have this white thing with an outline. And so in the dark areas you wouldn't be able to see that. You'd be able to see the white though, and in the light areas you would be able to see the outline. However, those lines are really thin. It's still pretty easy to lose it. So for me, I would probably still have it on green and outline opacity. You could just turn it off essentially, but 80 is fine. And then I think this was 80 before. Dot size. This makes your dot bigger or smaller if you are that really good at, if you really need to see your target behind the dot. And then dot opacity will make the dot more and more invisible, as you can see from the picture. So that's all the info I have for tee-hee-hee. Hope that's all defaulted. Ugh, not sure if it is or not. I actually don't know if in theory I could. Per hero bindings. Nope. Do not reset my per hero bindings. That took a long time to do. So, and we can have accuracy be shown. That is it for your aiming, sensitivity, what does it all mean. If you're looking for advice as far as what sensitivity should I make, I believe there's really 2 or 3 different kinds of sensitivity levels. You've got the I need all the help I can get level, which is probably like your McCree's. That was fun. Maybe not McCree's, but this would be like your snipers, like low sensitivity, high aim assist, or maybe no aim assist. So for like snipers, right, you would want really low sensitivity or lower, still high enough, but you know what I mean. And then probably not as much aim assist for hit scan heroes like McCree, Hanzo, Sombra. You would probably want something with a little bit more aim assist and a little bit higher sensitivity, but not a ton. For somebody like Tracer, however, you might want super high sensitivity because she's super mobile and you need to be able to move with her mobility. So Tracer, one of the best parts is that you can just zip through a space, much like that, but not exactly. You could zip through a space, but you need to be able to turn around really quickly. And then you have projectile users, which you may not want any aim assist on because you have to lead them, right? I can't aim at this guy's head. I have to aim above his head because this would be for Pharah too. Oh, and so like characters like Bastion, Pharah, you might want and Winston and Symmetra, you might want really high sensitivity because aim isn't as important for them. For Pharah, it's more about leading and less about aim. Oh, and also Junkrat too. So you've got so anybody who uses AoE or has a large spread. So Bastion, large spread, turn that sensitivity up so you can just, get everybody. Pharah, she's from a distance and you have to lead your targets anyway, so just point at a spot and hopefully it'll hit. Junkrat, same thing. Where's it gonna go? Who knows? But if you're in a jam, turning around and throwing a mine will be really helpful for you. Winston, he doesn't have to aim. It's just a cone of electricity that goes out, but you need to be able to jump out of harm's way if you need to. What else do you have? Symmetra. Symmetra, you just need to keep your beam locked on, and it has a really wide lock-on area. Same thing for Moira, and same thing for Mercy. You might want really high sensitivity for them because Mercy doesn't really aim. She locks on a beam and then she needs to look for allies and somewhere else to fly to. That's what she's doing all the time. Moira, same thing. She has a little bit of lock on, so maybe the sensitivity would go down, but she has this health spray cone that she can get everybody with. So if aim matters less, you want to turn sensitivity up because it gives you more mobility inherently. The more that aim's important, the more you're going to want to dial it in with your ability level. Super high ability, turn the sensitivity way up. Abilities, not like me, not as confident in my aiming ability. I want to turn it down as low as, I mean, I want it as high as possible, but I still need to land shots. If I'm not landing shots, then it doesn't matter how fast I can move, right? They're just going to shoot me. So anyway, that's your guide for controller aiming, sensitivity, and reticles. I hope it helps. If you have any tips, if I've gotten something wrong, let me know. It will help others who come and see the video, and have fun out there. Yeah.